Have you ever listened to yourself back on a video recording or an audio recording and thought, God, I sound so flat, I sound so dull and uninterested? Well, sounding monotonous is a very common feature for people who aren't used to doing voiceovers particularly, and fixing it is really important. Here are 4 ways to improve your delivery. Hello, I'm Gary. I'm a British voiceover coach and I teach beginners how to get into the voiceover industry. I hope you're in fine voice. All right, so trying to fix that monotone voice. What do you have to do? What steps do you have to take? Firstly, I recommend focusing on your modulation. Now, modulation is the melody in your voice. It's the musicality that your voice makes, and all of us have it to a greater or lesser extent, and sometimes it's about increasing that. So instead of just saying, hello, I'm Gary, I'm going to make myself a cappuccino today, if I said, hello, I'm Gary, I'm going to make myself a cappuccino today, there's a sort of melody there, isn't there? As opposed to so modulation, adding musicality to your voice is really important, but be careful. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be sing-song. We don't want to hear a kind of, hello, I'm Gary, and I want to fix myself a cappuccino. You don't want that kind of thing because it will just put people off and it will sound false and you'll lose all your credibility. But modulation, very important. The next thing is to think about volume. Now, adding a little bit of extra volume, not too much, a little bit of amplitude in your voice, increasing the level, will help enormously. Now, you may say, but I'm a softly spoken person. I never raise my voice. And that's probably part of who you are. But I bet you can raise it just a little bit. And doing that is enough to actually give it some more energy and some more gusto, really. So if you're doing a presentation, for example, instead of just going, hello, good evening, my name is Gary and I'm here to give you this presentation. If you went, hello, I'm Gary and I'm here to give you this presentation. So I've just pushed my voice slightly more than I would ordinarily. Now, in voiceovers, we've got this thing, the microphone, and we can turn that up and down accordingly. But you'll find if you're sounding monotonous, some volume will really help. The next element to work on is inflection. This is the way you round off a sentence at the end, particularly. So if I was to say, I'm going to make a cappuccino today, then I've come down today. I've come down at the end of a sentence, and that's kind of it. All right, so what? But if I went, I'm going to make a cappuccino today, I've gone up at the end, and then it implies that there's something else coming along, and it just makes it a little bit more exciting. So experiment with going up at the end of sentences. You may want to come down at certain points, particularly when you're rounding something off, but if you're not, go up at the end of a sentence. And finally, emphasis. That's really important. So you can pick out words in the script that you feel you can emphasize more than other words. I don't want you to get into a rhythm of emphasizing every third word or whatever. You don't want to do that. Don't become predictable. But when you read through your script beforehand, you'll notice that there are certain words, particularly you and your, that you can emphasize more than others. If you're doing a commercial script, for example, free, unique, now would all be words that you could definitely emphasize more than others. But it depends on the script. But I think just adding some emphasis and doing that judiciously and sparingly will really help. It'll add some color and some interest to your whole delivery. So you can improve your performance by working on modulation, on volume, on inflection, and on emphasizing certain words as well. Have a practice, see how you get on, really, and just see how far you can push it before you start losing your credibility. You want to maintain that if you can. But practice certainly does make perfect, and remember those little tricks will really help you bring the words to life and stop you sounding dull and on the same level all the time. All right, thanks very much for watching today. Look after your voice and see you next time.